Hi Aries, welcome to Yellow Cardinal Tarot. My name is Carol, and Aries, in today's reading we're going to be looking at how you can embrace your anger. And anger is a very, very powerful emotion in our system. I know that I've been going back between feeling fear and feeling anger in my system. And so the thing about anger is that it can bring so much change into your own life, but the problem is a lot of people, like myself, have been taught to put my anger away. Society gives us such a bad rap and, says that the emotion anger is bad, and we learn that as a young child. But anger is so powerful that it's going to find a way to come out and a lot of times it's, we explode at other people, we hurt other people, and it's not us, it's not what we want to do, and it's because our anger is repressed, and that is why we're having these explosions. Or you may be somebody that just doesn't feel their anger at all, and you've said, I don't have any anger, and that is something in itself, again, because we all have anger, we're all supposed to use it. And so we're going to explore in this reading how you can start to embrace your anger. We're going to look at where it's showing up in your own life, and so it can bring some real change to your life. So let's begin with pulling a card right now. I'm going to be using the Curious Travels deck, and I'm going to clarify it with the Radiant Rider-Waite. And so we're going to pull a card first of all for what pattern situation in your life that is creating anger for you right now. Again, you might not even notice it. So let's look at that, but I'm going to bring awareness to it. So one card for Aries, for anger, how it's showing up in their life right now. There we go. One card flipped here. You have the Queen of Wands. Pentacles, sorry. Pentacles, yeah. It was weird because I saw the wands here, and then I was like, no, she's got a pentacle in her hand. So it's like I'm fighting over that already, my first card that I pull out. So maybe it's a card that's wanting a tough time that doesn't want to come out. We'll see. How does your repressed or ungrounded anger manifest itself in your daily life? So how is it your repressed anger showing up in your life? This is an interesting category, actually. And you have the King of Wands. Oh, he's pentacles too. You see how he has the wands all over the place, and he's got a pentacle here. So that's interesting. You have the King and the Queen of Pentacles. And then let's look at, what are you afraid will happen if you express your anger? One card for that. What are you afraid of? What is Aries afraid of? If they express their anger, what is Aries afraid of? One card. Oh, we got two here. Okay, so you have the Ten of Pentacles. And you have the Six of Cups. This deck right here is actually probably my favorite deck right now. I love everything about it. In particular for me, decks when I'm shuffling are very important. Like I have to be able to, they have to be able to shuffle really well. Anyway, enough about my favorite deck. How can you begin to release or express your anger in a grounded way? Just saying, it is a good deck. But I do go back to my other decks because I think it's important. When they're calling, I go. This is definitely my go-to. Oh, here we go. All right, so you have the Nine of Pentacles for how you can begin to release or express your anger in a grounded way. I'm going to pull out some clarifiers. That will go a lot faster. The Radiant Rider-Waite deck is another one that I use for clarifiers because it just goes really fast, and they seem to come out one at a time, or a couple cards for this Queen of Pentacles. But today they're not talking as quickly as they normally do. Queen of Pentacles, couple cards. We got one. There we go. We got another one on the floor. Okay, so you have the World card, and off the floor we have the Three of Cups in reverse. How about this King of Pentacles right here? A couple cards for that, please. There we go. I like how those came out. Queen of Pentacles. There she is again. Two of Swords in reverse. And how about these two cards? 10 of Pentacles and the Six of Cups. Might need one or two. Just, yeah, let's see. We'll go what they got here. You have the Four of Cups in sideways, so we'll keep that there. I think that's enough. And the Nine of Pentacles. One or two. Let's go for two cards for that one. We have another King coming out here. 10, the King of Cups. And one more. One more card to go to clarify that. There we go. So you have the Hermit card. I'm going to say he's in reverse. And you have the King of Cups. He was, you know, he was kind of going, he's tipping here, so I'll keep him reverse. Sometimes it's hard to tell where they want to go. Okay, so we're going to start off with what pattern situation is creating anger in your life. And we started off with the Queen of Pentacles. Very important here because you have two queens. So I'm going to talk about the Queen right now. And then we'll be talking about the King. But we all have two parts of us. We have a feminine side and a masculine side. And it has nothing to do with your gender. And our masculine side is our ego self. So we'll get into that because he's coming up next. And our feminine side has all these beautiful qualities about her that has been repressed, you know, over decades and decades. And so, you know, beautiful qualities like creativity, our intuition is beautiful, authenticity, stillness. So these are all starting to come back now. And I think what you're feeling, and as I said, stillness, I thought, yeah, I think what you're really seeking here, because she's in reverse, and the Queen, like I said, talks about getting still, taking some time out for ourselves, taking some time out just to, you know, get to know ourselves. Maybe, you know, some people like to get into meditation, but just spending time, quiet time alone. And I'm seeing here that maybe you're having a really difficult time finding some time to carve out for yourself. And if we're so busy, because I think we're used to, I mean, it doesn't matter, like I said, the gender, but there's a part of us and a lot of us that are used to serving other people and making sure that everybody's needs are met. And we can really lose ourselves in that and really find, and especially, you know, if you're, you know, it doesn't matter what gender, but if you're raising a family, you can really struggle with trying to find time for yourself. And sometimes we can get caught up in our jobs or other things where we just don't get the time for ourselves, and we kind of put ourselves on the back burner and we become the last person. And so I think there's some real underlying anger that's there, that's brewing, and it's like, I want time to myself. I need time to myself. I never get time to myself. And because I think that next card that comes out is this closure card. It's the World card, and I kind of look at it as closure. And I'm wondering if you're seeking maybe closure on things in your life. You're seeking a more kind of deeper understanding on things. You're getting to that point in your life where you're kind of looking at your life and going, you know, like, what is my purpose? What else do I want to do out there? And so you're seeking some things out there. You're seeking some closure. And that's why I think you want this stillness, so you can kind of, you know, get in touch with some of that. And then you get this Three of Cups in reverse, and the Three of Cups is a beautiful card of this in an upright position. It's the three feminine figures. And so a lot of feminine energy is coming through. And please don't think that, again, this has anything to do with gender. In this particular one, it's like these three individuals, because number three celebrates, it's a celebration card. Number three is a co-creative number, people coming together. And these three feminine figures are coming together to celebrate their creativity and look at the abundance, at their feet right here. And so I think there's some creativity brewing in you, and I can almost feel it, but it's still, it's still in the beginning stages here, because it's in reverse. There's some resistance to you. And, sometimes we have to break through that anger and heal that anger before we can start to see what's behind that, before our creativity can come through. Because if you're sitting with anger in your body, in your system, and it's just, there's no way that creativity is going to come through. It's just not. And so that's what's happening here, is you're like, you're feeling something here, but you're just wanting that time for yourself. And so how does your repressed, ungrounded anger manifest itself in your daily life? And so this means, like, you have this repressed anger, and it's going to start spewing out in different ways. And we're going to see, or, maybe you're numbing it out. We're going to see what's happening. But because it's starting out with the King of Pentacles, this is your ego self. That's that masculine part of you that I talked about. And the Pentacle is all about your body. It's all about your self-worth. And, I think your ego self, and especially if you're thinking about, putting yourself first, especially if you're thinking about, if you're feeling this creative side to you, your ego self is going to absolutely fear this inside of you. And so it'll come up and it'll definitely block what's wanting to come forward, because our ego self is that part of us that protected us when we were younger. And oftentimes when we tried to use our anger when we were younger, we were very much rejected or maybe humiliated, felt a lot of shame around using our anger. And we were abandoned by people, like our caretakers would have said, go to your room, put that away. And so the real self, our real authentic self, wasn't allowed to come out. And so here you are kind of getting these feelings like, maybe there's something else I want to do. Maybe I want to start putting myself first. And this ego is petrified of that. This ego wants nothing to do with you going toward your creativity. Nothing to do with you even thinking about that. Because it remembers. Our ego self only lives in the past. And so it remembers what happened to you when you were younger. And you tried to use your anger to put yourself first. To say, listen, this is what's happening to me. I don't want this to happen. And you took out your anger so that you could set up some boundaries for yourself. But you were told, that's a bad emotion. Put it away. And so you can imagine this ego self just absolutely freaking out, petrified that you even want to think this, that you could even think this. And right underneath, it's clarified by the Queen of Pentacles. And the Queen itself, let's look, we talked about the Queen, but she's the Pentacle this time. So like I said, she's all about the body. The Queen lives, she lives from her body. And the big thing I forgot to mention about the feminine side to us, it's all about our emotions. It's about feeling our emotions. And the Pentacle is, this Queen lives in her body. She's not afraid to get into her body. You see, the ego self will keep us up here in our mind, in our head. It doesn't want us to go to our body, because guess what's in our body? Our emotions, our anger. And so the ego self will try to numb you out and keep you up here, because that's where it thinks it's safe. And yeah, it was safe there when you were younger, because you had big emotions and you weren't allowed to feel your anger. So you put them away, you suppressed them, you put them in your body, and you stuck them down in your body. And then this Queen is coming out and saying, it's time for us to get into our body and start to feel some of this anger, because that's what you're being called to do. But you've got this king up here, our ego self is going, you aren't going there. You dare go there. And then you've got this Two of Swords that comes here. So what's the Two of Swords mean? The Two of Swords is, swords is all about our mental energy, our mental thought. It's our mental body, the things we tell ourselves. And this card right here is a card that has been somebody that has completely shut down. And they've put a blindfold on their face. And, look at the swords. They've crossed their heart. So there's no feeling, no emotion there. But look what's flowing at the back of this card. You have water. Lots of water in this card that's flowing, right? And whenever you have water, and this particular Two of Swords has a lot of water. You got the moon at the top also. That's the intuition. That's your inner knowing. That's shut down. So there's not one part of this feminine part of you that is coming out right now. It's completely shut down because you've got this ego right here that's going, don't you dare go into your body. And that's what the Two of Swords is. It's a card that says, I'm not going there. I'm shut down. And so I can feel you're completely numb. You are completely numb to feeling your anger. And that's a protection. It protects us, right? Because the ego tries to protect us, but it's not really doing us a favor because we need to feel that anger if you want to go towards this creative side to you. And so what are you afraid will happen if you express your anger? Because there is a fear behind expressing your anger. Let's get real here. Our ego self is a fearful part, petrified part. And it's like that, I always say it's like that robot on Lost in Space that I used to watch when I was a child. Actually, I didn't really watch it. I didn't like it. But it's like, danger, danger, don't you go there. And that's how I see our ego self, like, don't go there. And so what are you afraid? Really, what's your ego self? What are you afraid will happen? Well, you have this 10 of Pentacle card that comes out first, and it's clarified by the 6 of Cups. 10 of Pentacles is a beautiful card, and it's been coming out a bit in this series, which is interesting. It doesn't always come out, but when it comes out, it means one thing to me. On this card, you can see like a series of elephants here. You have one elephant at the top, kind of like the grandfather elephant here. And then you have 3 generations, actually, right? 3 generations. So it's very much a generational card. Now, normally in the Rider-Waite deck, it has a formation. The pentacles are in a beautiful formation, and it's a Kabbalistic tree of life. It's from the Jewish culture, and it speaks about a study of your lineage. Each pentacle, each node on the tree of life you would be studying where you came from, your lineage. And because this is a healing channel, I very much see this card as generational trauma. And so I think there's a real fear here that something related to some memories are going to come up for you, because generational trauma is, memories and things that happened to us when we were younger. Because you have the 6 of Cups here. 6 of Cups is my inner child, is an inner child card. I have my pages are also my inner children in my deck as well. But this is really an exchange between these two children here, an older one and a younger one. And so our inner children hold our memories. They hold our big emotions. And so, I think there's a fear in you because there's an inner child here that comes up. And when when any of my inner children cards come up, these are parts of us that need to be healed. They need to be listened to. They need to be heard. I journal to my inner children and allow them to have a voice, and they talk back to me in my writing. It's very important because we have to heal them. And I think there's an inner child here of yours that remembers what happened to you when you showed your anger when you were younger. They have the memories, of maybe abandonment, or, maybe you were rejected for showing it. And so you're afraid that there's some stuff, memories are going to come up from that. And the last thing that comes up here is a 4 of Cups, and it was kind of sideways position. The 4 of Cups speaks about this individual, And he has 4 cups in front of him. Well, he has 3 that are standing, and he's placed them like trophies, right? And he's looking at them going, well, he's not really looking at them. Look at how he actually looks very angry, very, very angry. And so this really shows me that when you were younger, it's sitting right underneath this fear of yours of when you were younger. Look what you did with your anger. You tried to show your anger. And, picture this as a young child. It's funny because when I put videos together, whenever I've looked for, something to do with anger or a younger child crying or whatever, that's what they do. They go into the corner and little kids do this, right? They're so angry, but they can't express it because they're not allowed to. And so here you are as a young child where you try to express your anger. And you were told, put those cups away, put that anger away, because that's what the cups is. Cups is our emotions. And there's this cup coming in on the side right here. I call this the Ace of Cups, almost like it's an offer from the universe when you were younger, and it says, do you want to feel again? Here's an offer for you to feel. And it was just like, no. I'm not touching that cup anymore. I'm putting that away. I'm putting all my emotions away, including my anger, because you were not allowed to feel your anger when you were younger. And that's what you're petrified of. That's what your ego is petrified of. It does not want to go to that when you're younger, because we go to these memories. We have to feel. We have to feel what it felt like when you were younger, when you were told to put your anger away. You have to feel that anger now as an adult. You can feel that now. You couldn't feel that anger when you were younger, and that's what you need to feel right now. Right now, you need to get angry, just like that a younger child wanted to when they were younger. And that's how we heal our inner children. And so how can you begin to release or express your anger in a grounded way? Remember, this is a process. And so we just start to, and how are you going to begin to release it? Well, you have the 9 of Pentacles that comes in a reverse position. In an upright position, the 9 of Pentacles speaks about what are you going to commit yourself to? What are you willing? This individual has committed herself to, maybe it looks like she's going to a place of worship, whatever, on every Sunday. I'm not saying that's what you need to do, but it's like, this is kind of the idea here, that you commit to something. What are you willing to commit to do? You need to commit to releasing this anger, to expressing this anger. And are you willing to heal this? Because there's a big fear here on your part, and I know that. And so it's like, what are you willing to do? Are you willing to feel this anger now that you're an adult? And because, you have the King of Cups here, and you have to realize and recognize you got to work with this ego self first. Here is the King of Cups. The King, like I said, is our ego self. It wants nothing, absolutely nothing to do with emotions. And it'll continue to block you. And I will journal from my ego self. I will say, don't you dare go near those emotions. Those emotions are dangerous. Don't you remember what happened to you when you were younger, when you tried to take out your anger? I say those things because that's what it's still telling me. So I give it a voice, because our ego self is a part of us, and it needs a voice as well. Just like this inner child needs a voice. And so I start to journal I start with my ego self, because that's what's really blocking you here is, don't you dare go there. There's some trauma behind that. Don't you dare go there. Don't you touch this anger. And then the last card that comes in is the Hermit card. I like this card. It's a major arcana card. It's this individual. It came in reversible. I wasn't sure. I was struggling with it. But it's this individual that wants to, shine the light. Shine the light on something. And it, maybe it came in reverse here because I know there's some resistance. But the Hermit card says, it's kind of time for you. You need to take some time out for yourself. And that's what you started this reading as you're struggling with taking time out for yourself, and there's anger underneath there. And this Hermit card says, here it is. Here's the time. Here, it's time for you. It's time for you to take that inward journey. Let's get back into our body. You've got a lot of feminine energy here, getting back into our body, feeling that anger. You are an adult now. You're allowed to express this anger. You deserve to express this anger. You couldn't when you were younger, but Aries, you can do it now. And so Aries, I want you to have compassion for yourself for what you're working through. I'm going to leave you with an anger playlist, and I'm also going to leave you with the last video I did for you on fear, if you didn't have a chance to see that. This healing journey, healing ourselves, getting back to our true authentic self, is the most difficult journey of our life, but it's the most important one. So take care, and I'll talk soon. Bye-bye.